Hi guys, Bobby and Vinny here from Peak Performance Academy. On this video series, what we're basically going to do is a very informal video series where we're just going to chat about something that's in the media at the moment, or with something that's has happened in the gym, and something that's very, very prevalent. And it's just going to be a very informal chat. We're just like having a cup of coffee, having a chat, and giving our honest thoughts on what we think on that subject or something that's happened in the week.
So a lot of us kind of going to give our own kind of opinion coming from different backgrounds in sports, and probably the mentality of different things that's going on in the fitness side of things. So I suppose the big one at the moment really is kind of mainstream is just the Conor McGregor fight really that kind of happened, and not so much the fight in general, but it's just more the Irish mentality of not liking McGregor, and it's very 50-50 and split, and kind of almost like you were saying begrudging and how successful he is. Like,
yeah, people are. I think that the biggest thing is when somebody is that confident and portrays that confidence, that self-confidence. I think as Irish people we can be very begrudging of that, and we're not used to it because we're always of the mentality you did your best, and not a winning mentality. And no, this is not for not everybody, but just in a general sense. I think like it's a case of Conor McGregor comes out and he's second, we'll say UFC, or not UFC fight, but second fight, and some guy just sticks a camera in front of him and he says, I'm going to be UFC champion and I'm going to fight in the UFC. I mean, that is self-confidence, that is super confidence, and like you have to admire that. Like, I mean, how successful the guy actually is, and the way he markets himself, people mightn't like. I mean,
like Joe, like we understand, like everybody's gonna have their opinion. Like, we're not here to say whose opinion is right or wrong, but I think for people just kind of to completely shut out what he's actually done for himself and done for the sport, like, and there's really a reason behind everything he does. And someone told me the last day, right, like, he only got there for being an entertainer, like, and like he is probably the best promoter in the game at the moment, but like he isn't going to get there without backing up with his skills, like. And I suppose his trash talking and stuff does take away from his skills, and like we were saying there before the McGregor fight, I suppose the week before any of his fights everyone seems to be an expert on his fighting and everything like that, and it's okay to, like, the opinions is one thing, but just to say that he isn't a proper Irish person, like,
it's a big statement, like, because like the guy is what I suppose what I personally admire about him massively is the story behind him. He is your typical Irish person. He worked on, he said, I think it was building sites or something he worked on, and plumbing, was it? So he did that. So I mean, he was an apprentice. That an awful lot of Irish people have done and are still currently doing. They have their job, they're trying to make a day's wage, working really hard. He in the background he was doing a bit of martial arts, trying to get better at that, keeping himself fit, keeping himself out of trouble. But then he had this internal belief all the time that he was going to make it when other people around him were saying, no, you're not, and how can you make a living from this fighting, from this MMA. And that's what's hugely admirable about him as a character. I mean, take away all the bravado and all the money and all that bad language and all that kind of stuff. That's all the Conor McGregor kind of alter ego, the kind of, like, you look at Deontay Wilder and the Bronze Bomber, he talks about that different person that fights. It's just the Conor McGregor show kind of thing more than anything else.
Yeah, the big thing I suppose since his boxing match last year, a lot of people talking. You'd be saying, like, the fellas he's hanging around with at the moment are, they're kind of bad, and they're changing who he is and stuff like that. But I suppose, like McGregor always said, and the people he's around with, like, are the people who've been there with him since day one, like, and he's come up with, like. So I think it's great to see on his side of things, like, he's bringing along the people that he grew up with and helped him get there, like he was going on about Artem Lobov, like that. McGregor wouldn't be where he is now without him, like. So I suppose there's always two sides to the story, like, but he's successful for a reason, like. It's like you were saying, it's that winner's mentality. And John Kavanagh was on there, Joe Rogan's podcast, talking about it and talking about the training, and it's good to get an insight from kind of the coach's point of view on what way Conor McGregor does operate as an athlete, and his mentality. That after the Nate Diaz fight, when he got beaten, that Nate Diaz John Kavanagh didn't want him to rematch, but Conor was just kind of that stubbornness and that winning mentality, that he could fix what he done wrong and come back and beat him, and which he did in the end. Like, so that's all part of the story as well. Like, that's what makes him great.
Huge.
Like,
and that's hugely, like, inside in the gym is the same. If you think about any goal you have, and maybe you might fail the first and second time, if you have that inner desire to actually achieve it, you will achieve it, because you'll keep coming back and keep fighting. And just talking about John Kavanagh, like, you can see there behind that success story is a great coach, somebody that believed in him, somebody that coached him, somebody that went through the bad times and the good times. And that's why I suppose in our industry we're always kind of preaching that everybody should have a coach, and it's so important. And somebody shouldn't look down on another person because they've got a personal trainer and thinking it's some luxury item. It's not. It's so much deeper than that. Like, I mean, when we talk about sets and reps inside, that's a tiny part of our business, and the longer we're in this business, the more we're seeing that. The actual weight training is a small part. It's the journey, it's the coaching, it's been there for the person, it's taking a step back and understanding it from their point of view. And I think the likes of Conor McGregor's story, you got that guy in the background that's really helping him, because there's no doubt about it, as confident as he is, there is going to be days that he's going to be like doubting. It has to, it's your instinct, it's there. Doubt will be there, you'll always think of what if. So the likes of John Kavanagh is a guy, I think, that's very optimistic, and he's very balanced.
Like, you hit the nail on the head. He was kind of saying like that the whole bravado thing isn't his cup of tea, but he said it is what it is. Like, you know, people have to kind of accept that. Like, the UFC wouldn't be where it is without what he's done, and he wouldn't be where he is without what he's done.
Everybody
like, so,
knows it now.
Like, there's a reason why he's the highest paid fighter in the world at the moment, or he just, even since Floyd Mayweather's probably retired, like, John, he is the highest paid fighter in the world, like, and the biggest superstar, and there is a reason behind that. Like, John, it's not just because he's an excellent fighter or just because he's an excellent entertainer. It's because he's found that balance of two, like, and like, obviously he's made some mistakes like that, you know, just aren't right, but I suppose any big superstars always, most of them have, like.
And like that, we're just releasing a video on Coach's Corner this Friday, and it's called The Cost of Success. And the cost of success to Conor McGregor is these things that are happening. If somebody goes back over his last year, these incidents, if you think of, he's came from here and he's now here, and that transition has been very, very fast. So it's obviously going to change your character, and there's a lot of stuff to deal with. But one thing I really admire about Conor McGregor is when you take away all that rubbish and all that language and all the stuff like that, all the showmanship, he's gracious in defeat. He keeps his friends close. His team is very tight knit. They're there a long time. He's a very honourable man that way. And I always, when he was beaten by Nate Diaz, I think that the way he reacts to losses is a big show of what kind of person he is.
Yeah, I think like Dana White came out. Someone came out saying that Dana White said, I think, that he already got a call from McGregor saying how he wants the rematch and stuff like that. But that just shows that he can come back for the money or the fame. Like, he wants to fight, like, and like if you apply that into anything, whether it's just something as simple as your own nutrition goals or like even into business, like, you know, it's, you have to take the losses. Like, people are afraid to try something or do something new because they're afraid of having this failure on their resume or something like that. But without these losses, like, you know, you're not really gonna amount to anything or do anything. Like, you have to be willing to make that jump, per se, like, and that's what he's done best. Like, saying that it's easy to sit behind like a laptop or something like that and criticize all these people, but, like, you know, there's a reason why they're there, and they're blocking all this noise out, and like, that's on a bigger scale, and everyone could take something for that to do it on another scale. Like, you know, someone who's trying to do something with fitness or do something, makeup is big this day, or hairdressing, whatever it is, like, you know, afraid to post stuff online because you know what people would think about it. It's just the sooner you can block that out and just kind of worry about that own kind of voice inside your head is going to be the biggest way to win. Yeah, that mindset is going to be huge. And like Vinny was saying, like, you know, the thing about we'll use John Kavanagh's book, You Win or Learn. That's a massive thing. You either win or you learn, and a lot of times you don't win. And like when if it's a nutrition goal, body composition goal, whatever, and you don't succeed the first time, you try again. If you don't have that mentality, you will not be successful. You have to be like that, and there is going to be them downfalls. And like you were saying there,
when you look at the likes of being afraid to post on social media. Like, we're starting a podcast now shortly, and this is kind of our podcast video series, but we're starting a podcast and talking about getting guests on, and so many people. Now we've about 5 or 6 guests lined up, and they're all willing to do it, no problem, they've done this before. But trying to get somebody locally to come on the podcast and speak about a certain topic is very, very difficult because of this, what people think.
It's kind of that small town or
Yeah.
small pond mentality, like, you know, worrying what's the word going to be downtown, like, you know. That's just a negative way to think, like, and that's just not right. And I don't know, is it just a cultural thing, is it an Irish thing, or is it just society at the moment,
yeah.
like, you know. So it's, I suppose you take it any way you want, like, but it's the wrong thing once you're thinking negatively straight away, like, you know. It's going to affect your work and affect your ability to succeed.
Because you're never going to change that. People are going to talk, but the thing you have to realise is that a lot of people are interested. Like, there might be you might be doing something, and people nobody might be interested in what we're talking about currently now, but people could look at this video and say, Jesus, that's a good point the guy's made, and they find it interesting what we just this general chat, what we're talking about. They might just want to delve into our lives a little bit and see what we kind of do on a daily basis, or what's our opinions on certain things, like this Conor McGregor superstar guy that everybody, I won't say everybody, but a lot of people don't dislike because of his mannerisms, and we're giving our opinion on it. But that's our opinion, and we don't really care what other people think about our opinion. It's our opinion, and everybody's free to have their opinion. So, and it's like if somebody's trying to achieve something in the gym and somebody says, oh geez, they're training 5 times a week and they're getting nowhere, but she's still looking a bit overweight. The thing I always say to people, just walk in their shoes for a day, and that's what you have to realise too when you judge people. You have to see it from their side.
Like, it could be, like, the conversation could be bit deep, like, you know, from a human being to another human being, you know, negativity and being negative and pushing negativity towards someone else is probably just like the worst thing you could do to another human, like, you know, worse than anything, like, you see what happened after the fight, like, you know, physical violence and stuff like that. But just on a day-to-day basis of just kind of pushing negativity towards someone, and just all this kind of constant words toward them, like, you know, that's the worst thing you can do to another person, like, you know, putting someone down. And, like, you know, it doesn't cost anything to be nice, like, or to help the people around you.
So I suppose generally in this video, guys, what you can take from it is that if you look at the actual, forget about the bravado, forget about the whole showmanship, just look at the character, the deep character, the background of Conor McGregor and why he is so successful, and look at the traits that he has that make him successful, the belief, the drive, the I suppose being honourable to the people that were with him from day one, and in defeat or in defeat or in winning, how gracious he actually is, and as a person, that's what you have to look at. There's this all aura that's around him is just the Conor McGregor aura. It's kind of the alter ego as such,
Yeah,
you know.
like,
So you kind of have to pull that back a little bit, because you look at the person. Like,
there's a reason winners win, like, and
Yeah.
losers lose. There's a reason behind that. Like, Joey could say all he wants to, like, Joey's just kind of, he's a scumbag, like, you know, where he's from and stuff like that, but he doesn't get enough credit for all the businesses he has his foot in, like, you know, how successful he is outside the ring, like, and you know, it's easy to say he's just a bit of a scumbag, like, you know, but that's just one way of looking at things. And I suppose we'll talk about that a lot with just different topics,
Yeah.
like our kind of points of view, like, on the reason, and just there's a reason why he's successful. Like I said, winners win and losers lose.
yeah, exactly, guys. And just I hope you can take something from this video, because it kind of looks a bit deeper onto, we say, this current story that's everywhere on social media at the moment, and it's like we're looking at it from a different side. The fight was great, it was brilliant, technically it was very good and all that kind of stuff, we enjoyed that, but we're kind of looking at it from a deeper side in terms of the actual character of this person, this superstar, and what got him from zero to there, and that's a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, guys, we'll be back again next week on another topic. As I say, it's going to be purely random, it's totally informal, we haven't this rehearsed, we're just chatting and giving our opinions and trying to be as honest as possible about it. Some people might like it, some people might like it, but it's just a nice honest opinion that you're hearing, and as I say, each week we'll pick a topic and chat about it, and hopefully you'll be interested.
Love the haircut for next week as well.
Yeah, we'll look better next week. Okay guys, thanks for listening.